since I just charged my phone for the 10th time today. I bought 2 tickets under my mom's credit card. One pass I'm using, the other I'm selling to someone. Do I have to get the name transferred or something? It's like, why? Like, the new internet world is information everywhere, but no one wants to read it. Let's just bother the person right to the source. It's very aggravating.
Yeah.
It's like the dumbest question. They don't take any time to look it up. It's like, let's just email somebody and ask.
Right.
The same time they would sit there and wait, thinking, I bet they could find it if they just went to the source, you know? And it's a pain in the ass no matter how many times we've answered the question, no matter how many times we have it on the site, they don't get it.
I got you. So, when do you start booking the fest? Like, how early in the year? Like, how long's this been going on?
This one started last year, right after the fest sold out.
Okay.
June.
So what's like what are the initial stages? Contacting the bands?
No, the initial stage is always, like for this year, was knowing what everyone else does. I have files all over my computer of who is playing what festival, who has a lineup coming out in the fall, who has a winner. You know, I look at who did well in the I mean, you gotta remember, I'm the last of the fests in hardcore. So I get to see, okay, this band did good. I didn't have them last year. Hopefully they don't, you know, or this band really tanked. Make sure they're not playing next year. I have an Excel sheet that tells me I keep a track of every band who's playing every fest. And I start looking and going, okay, and I look and see how many times they played this hardcore. And I really start weeding out the bands where I say, okay, this band's played a lot, and next year I'm definitely not going to have them. It starts with a list. And then there's always the fantasy bands or the big bands. You have to sometimes, like, there's 2 professional super duper offers in right now for 2012 this hardcore, and there's 2 like meetings or phone dates for November to start working on other bands because they need to do as soon as they go from winter, when they're in winter they know what they're doing in spring and summer. They need to think and prioritize this hardcore, so they have to have offers on the table when they're prioritizing. We never did it like that. We used to take breaks. I used to get done now, and I would work the day after this hardcore was the day I wrote the list of what would I change. And the small weird task you do after the fest, but the fest sold out last year. Everybody's like, oh no, Kid Dynamite, Inga Dagger. That's the only reason why. So I was like, fuck that. We're not having that be the only reason.
Right.
And I went right with the momentum of everybody saying how this hardcore sold out so fast, and started hitting everybody up. Look at what we've done. Look at this numbers. This is what we're doing. 36 hours, and just kind of rolled, and I thought about what I would change, like I looked and saw, and then once the fest was over, I had the physical experience of my own opinion to say,
yeah, what were some of those little things that, like from last year, for instance, that you thought that you wanted to change?
I mean, you could see the continuity, flow, and sometimes you have to break up blocks of bands. Like I used to always block out Saturday morning. It's not morning, but it's afternoon.
Right.
With like the Mongoloids and the scores. Like the crazier younger bands are going to get everybody moving.
Right.
And to some degree that happens. But Saturday last year was also for experimenting. You saw like the Love Below. You saw what was that crazy band? Seraphim. And it threw people through a loop. Just have to enjoy music without physically jumping around.
Right.
Do I want that every time? No. I like the excitement. I like the aggression. I like the physical display of we're excited for the show, but it was cool to see the block out. This year, however, so many of the bands that I was booking, I mean, I hate to say it, is every year we cut out a level of bands I think that would have played if there wasn't for this band or this band playing. And you add Resurrection and Strife and Damnation and who else? District 9 on their bill. That cuts out 4 younger bands, maybe even 5 because of the length of sets.
Right.
Who would have got a chance to do something like the Love Below did or the Seraphim did, or So I really took notice of what bands and what styles flowed better into it. The continuity. I always try to change it up, but at the same time, there's just some things that just work, know. And I think I returned Saturday to its very fast flow. You have everything from heavy bands. Stout and Suburban Scum, the Coke Bust and Rival Mob, and it's a sweet mix, and then it goes, it flows. I like that. Other things that I noticed was just like you can have a band that everybody's excited to see, like a backtrack, and you're still not gonna have more than half the crowd in the room because it's early. People see them, they'll see them again. So I wanted to make sure my joke last year was, why have 10 bands that sound like Marauder? I'll just book Marauder. And this year it was, I've got enough bands that are the general article. No need to have 3 dubs of what is on that. So I cut out a lot of the fat, and that's why Sunday, you look at Sunday is a perfect example of a diverse billing, the same way Friday is. I mean, Friday we have everything from the most posy bands to Ringworm to Nails, back into Token Entry and Title Fight, and it ends with like Youth of Today. The most cookie cutter. Like they are the stamp of what posy hardcore is. They generated that.
Yeah.
But then Sunday, we go back to Crazy Chaos. Everything from Cool Hand. Look at that, Cool Hand Victims. But then Morning Again All Has Failed. It's a good mix.
Yeah, definitely.